I'm not to be the authority in all those things here. That's not my job. That's all of our jobs. God speaking to every one of you tells me that here. On the other levels, my work is cut out for me. If you did your work here 100%, the way I do mine on the others 100%, you wouldn't have to be concerned about this level. We would usher in a golden age that would be more fantastic than anything, because you'd also be in contact with all the realms of consciousness and the great and wonderful things that are in spirit that are created there first and being precipitated down would be coming down. Why, the electronics today would be nothing. The tinker toys we have now would be nothing for the gigantic things that are waiting to come in. That's why I tell people, don't worry about this. Don't worry about the energy levels. You don't have to worry about nuclear attacks and that. You don't have to worry about it. They can be neutralized. A while back, there was in a whole different galaxy, a person was working with the traveler and was told, there will come a time, and this was passed down through mythology. Were you a part of this? It was passed down through mythology to the high priest that says, when you come to this place and you call on this name, then that energy will come forward and stop what's going on. And there was this gigantic war coming. What we would have here would be puny. The whole galaxy was up against it. And we're talking about 9 little planets in our solar system. I'm talking about a galaxy. We're talking about millions of worlds that are inhabited. And the battle lines were drawn. And it was annihilation time. And they called upon the consciousness of the traveler. And the traveler consciousness came through, walked right out in the middle to all of those and said, stop! And all the ammunition, all their weapons were diffused and it stopped. There was no more war. That will happen on this planet if we do not exercise our consciousness of prevention. What if they gave a war and nobody showed up? What if we start becoming more self-sufficient inside? We don't have to protest against those people. We're trying to get people out there to change their behavior, and they're not going to, just like you don't change your behavior. But if you change your behavior towards them, they've got to change, or they can no longer participate in life. Well, look back at the history. Unions went on strike, boycotted plants, management had to change. The thing of it is unions found out in that great group energy, they were able to manipulate. And so they went too far. When do I get mine? When do I get mine? In fact, now what they found out is some unions took over some large corporations and production's gone up 13 to 15%. And what that says is these same people before that weren't doing it were lazy, ripping off management. Now they are management and they're getting their share and they're taking care of themselves. And what does that tell you? What they're doing before? Sabotaging, undermine. They were not being friendly to themselves and to what they were doing. They were not experiencing their own integrity. They were not getting involved in it. They were standing back and say, you people decide, but then I want my share. And I'll get this group together and we'll change your behavior by our behavior. That's called war. And sometimes it's called shooting. And other times it's called not letting people cross the line. And other times it's called voting. But sometimes it's called marriage and raising a family. Could be one of the more lovely wars. This faith can be seen outward because it can be counted upon. Even this story I told about the other galaxy. They knew through their oral history, down through the centuries, It was lost in the myths of time, much like our King Arthur and Camelot, mythological themes. But they called it forward, and it responded because it was based upon faith. And that faith thing called it forward, and it came forward. The interesting thing is that most of our myths are indeed based upon actual occurrences. But not necessarily were those actual occurrences recorded accurately and passed on accurately. Each person added their little bit of dialogue to what they thought happened. Now we call it gossip. You start over here and you whisper in this person's ear a few things, and he turns and whispers the other, and it goes around the room. And then the last one over here stands up and says what they heard, and everybody cracks up laughing because that isn't what they said. Each person adds and changes, but underneath it, there'll be something there they'll say, but this part was kept on through there. The fundamental essence kept on. That's all we have to deal with, is what is the essence under there, and we get to scrape away everybody's mythology. In fact, I go around demythologizing spirit. One of my jobs here is to get this record clearer, get it straight. You don't have to participate in it. That's up to you. You have your choice. If you don't make your choices, the choice is made for you, and that's your choice. We call it decision by default. It goes into the unconscious repository and comes back later on and says, you made this. And you're saying, no, no, no. And we run the big denial. I don't do that. I'm not like that. And that goes into the unconscious and sits there. And later on, they say, you want to do it? And you say, no, I don't want to do it. And you wonder, why did I say that? That's what I prayed for. Because that has to be dealt with before the prayer can be answered. You can be counted on. A yes is a yes, and a no is a no. You'll find also you won't be vague or emotionally unstable. The sixth one is finish your communication. That's where I am. If you start to talk, don't let it go and say nothing. Say, wait, I'm not going to say anymore. Probably most of us dislike more than anything else. Somebody starts saying something and say, oh, never mind. You go, I will mind. So let me finish this up by reviewing for you. First, be friendly. That means have eye contact. Talk to them, look in their eyes. Second one is be frank. Speak openly. Just speak openly to them. What are your concerns? The third is fair. That means be balanced in your emotions with how you're going to deal with them. Don't run junk on them. The fourth is firm. That's called be strong in your experience. The fifth was faithful, and that's hold your vision in front of you and go towards it. And the sixth was finish, which is closure, which is what I've done just now. Berush Beishan.